This episode is for Friday, January 8th, 2016. Ooh, that's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, it's our first one of the year. Actually, you know what's funny? I still don't think a lot of the podcast subscribers have heard the last one because there seems to be some kind of bug in the podcast caching system with the site. So, gotta
Uh-oh.
find that out today.
Uh-oh.
It's got to have something to do with the year change or something. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah. Do we have a large percentage of listeners that listen through the web browser?
Through the browser? The browser's fine. Yeah. It's anyone that listens through the feed itself, so iTunes or any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so we wrote a little bit of code that caches the RSS feed from Simplecast and reserves it. And for some reason, it's not grabbing that. I'm looking at the stats here to see what. Probably pretty bleh on listens from the web. Yeah. Apple makes up 32% of our listens.
That's awesome. That's a good number.
The browser is 20%.
That's good. On my other podcast, I've been trying to get the browser down. Like when it's like over 50%, like there's some alarms there. Like subscribe.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, everyone, welcome to 2016.
No joke. Welcome. Yes.
We're glad to be here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the subscriptions.
Indeed.
Woohoo.
Love it. All right. So let me get over.
Yeah. 2016 is starting off with a bang. Lots of good resources out there. And we're going to be covering 4 of them today.
Yes.
And ironically, all 4 come from Medium.
Yeah. I thought that was funny when I was putting the list together.
Yeah.
I think Medium's like squarely 1. Like you can just write that down and move on.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, they've added features slowly, and it's like key features, and it's good stuff. We saw.
I think the big one was custom domains.
Yep, that was a big recent one.
Yeah. And frankly, like generally the viral growth mechanism that they have makes a heck of a lot of sense for writing something. So like if you join using your Twitter account or your Facebook account, like it like auto friends all those people that are already on there. And then when you recommend a post, if they get a daily email or something, then some of your recommended posts can show up in there.
Yeah, that's great syndication. Yeah. And then they finally got the comment thing figured out. Like early on, they were like doing some funky stuff, like trying to make their own inline comments or whatever.
Yep.
But now they put it all at the bottom, and it just flows better.
Yeah.
So good job, Medium.
Yes, indeed.
And,
so
bloggers, get on there.
Yeah. I'm going to be moving my stuff there. All right. So this week we're going to talk about Mantra. We're going to talk about reduxing in your Meteor app. 4 strategies to survive Meteor in 2016, and Angular 2 versus React.
The war will begin.
Indeed. That one's got a fun picture at the top too. We'll have to talk about that. So, Mantra. This came out like just this morning, and I'm number one. Like, I'm happy that we're seeing the changes in Meteor that we are, and I think that it's easier for something like Mantra to exist because of the changes that are coming in 1.3. So that's super exciting. But basically, it's an application architecture. So there's some thought that comes along with it, and a little bit of wiring that comes along with it. Mm-hmm. But basically, it's like thinking of how to apply a lot of the Facebook architecture style to a Meteor app.
Yeah, think of Flux, but this is kind of like something built for Meteor.
Yeah.
In fact, Aaron Noda's in our private chat, and he was saying that the reason why he made this was because he thought like Redux wasn't particular enough for Meteor.
Right.
So, yeah, this is interesting, and it's cool that's coming out with by Aaron Noda and his team.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's not a fork per se, but it
Mm-hmm.
sort of trends that way, right? Like it's this idea of like, someone other than MDG is going to be a steward of something that's Meteor-ish and based on Meteor. And I think in the future we'll maybe see more of this, right? And so as we start to get more first-party integration with npm and working with libraries like React and making that easier to do, I think it's going to be easier to accomplish things like this as well. So, I look at, to me, like I draw my experience from the Ruby system, and we had gems. At first, you had Rails, and it was its own thing, but then you had, well, I guess it was always gems, but then you had like a package system that was separate. But then all of a sudden, later, I think with like 2.3 or something, we got gem support, and we could write packages as a gem that we could bring into our Rails app and like bring in a little bit of functionality. And I think that you'll see more of that. And so maybe Mini Mongo becomes just another npm package, right? And some of this other stuff becomes npm packages, and we're no longer relying, like if you look at Meteor, really all it is just a collection of packages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and a build tool, I guess.
Yeah. 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 Well, we'll see what this is like. How? Okay. So if you go to the repo for Mantra, it's like it's just an image.
It's pretty slender right now. Yeah.
It is. It's just like, and so Aaron Noda's trying to like drum up some excitement about this, but there's really nothing to look at right now. What do you feel like when someone does something like that?
I mean,
I personally wouldn't do that because it's like setting myself up for failure.
maybe, but I mean, he's delivered on a lot of stuff before. And
He has.
here's the thing: like, I don't know that he's necessarily trying to build mind share. I think he's just trying to be open and transparent about his work that he's doing. And blogging is a great way to do that, and I would love to see other organizations maybe do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, I I think it's smart. I've been working on a blog post about CDN. That's work I did months ago. I wish I would have got it out sooner. And then maybe next week I'm going to work on like production hosting of Crater that I've talked about a little bit on here. It's just, I think it gives people a little bit of transparency about what's going on with stuff. So that's my take on it.
That's cool. Yeah, that's opposite of how I was raised, but I'm going to keep track of this, and like my mind can be changed. I respect Aeronoda greatly, so
yeah. I mean,
if anyone
I
can
like
do it.
I like Flow Router. Like we recently did a Meteor Club Apprentice series where we went from Iron Router to Flow Router, and it was like, stupid easy.
Yeah.
And the code got better. So
yeah, exactly. You move more of your stuff to the template, or you're forced to, and it's just it's better app.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, it is good stuff.
How else can we rearrange our code and make it better, Ben?
It's interesting because another one of our boys, Avi Iyer from WorkPop, has been doing a series on Medium about Redux, and I think he's up to part 4 right now. And a good introduction is both part 1 and part 2. And right now we're going to be like, I don't know, we're just like kind of showcasing the whole thing. So Redux is another way how you can structure your app, and this is something that Facebook has come out with. And Redux is kind of like a breakaway from Flux. And I know a little bit about Redux. I know nothing about Flux, so I can't like compare the two. I just know as a reference what they are. And people love Redux. I know Avi does greatly. So his parts are like totally dumbed down. Like he is going step by step to get this thing set up in Meteor. So there's like almost no excuse for any level of a developer to not go through this the steps that Avi has laid out. And then after you get it inside your Meteor app, then you can go over to Egghead, and they have a free Redux course done by the creator Dan. And it's you're gonna get a better app at the end of the day if you have have it structured a certain way. So like we got Mantra coming out, but Redux is something that has a lot more horsepower behind it right now. And Abby actually made a prediction in our last show that Flux was just gonna, like, it wasn't gonna have all these branches anymore or all these different versions or forks. It's just gonna be known as the way to compose apps in the future, and which is pretty bold. But
he's probably not wrong, right? I mean, if you look at maybe it's not going to be 100% the way we build apps in the future, but at the same time, when Rails came out, and even before that, like MVC was the leading way to start building things at the time, and
right.
everybody kind of looked at it in an object oriented way, and I said, "Oh yes, the MVC pattern makes total sense. Let's do that," and started applying it everywhere. And then I think that's started to fade away as we move into like, oh wait, we've got like this server side stuff and this client side stuff. Now we need to figure out a better way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Avi's been killing it on this. I know that he's been getting a lot of positive feedback on it. And I'm just going through it. I'm just surprised by the detail that he's done. I love these little images that he has in there. But I mean, there's like, here's the thing. Like you can go through a setup or try to get something going in Meteor, and a lot of times the yak shave will be at the setup or try to integrate it, or like how to get like these npm packages loading right and things like that. This is where the value of this article has come from. Like Avi's like shaved that yak for you.
Yeah.
Literally step by step. And also knowing he takes his stuff, like he has like a certain level of performance that he wants to like be known for. And so if something's like out of date or someone like has a comment, like Avi's the type of guy that's going to be responding pretty quickly too. So that's another thing. Like as this tutorial like gets out of date and people are like, hey, it's broken, Avi's a great guy to write this thing because he's going to keep it updated. So boom. Yeah. That's for you, bro, if you're listening. And if everyone knows, Avi's my other podcast brother from another mother, other than Josh, the Ben and Avi show. So that got to give him some love.
Where can people find the Ben and Avi show?
I think it's like benabi.simplecast.fm. Right,
okay.
Yeah, but we're everywhere. We're syndicated, so go ahead on Apple Podcasts,
iTunes, Overcast, all the places.
Yeah, all the stuff. I think we're like up to show 15 now.
Medium. Are you on Medium? Everybody's on Medium, Ben.
We did start a little like company over there, I think, or whatever, a group thing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. We're wondering if you do want, since you brought that up, we iterate on this thing, right? So like everything's MVP. We're wondering what the next step should be. We're thinking the next step should be making a mini blog post for every show on Medium.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's one option. And
that's an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm. Rather than show notes that no one listens to, because everyone's subscribed. They don't really look at the show notes. They just play it. Yeah. So that's something. If people want to hit me up on Twitter and tell me what you think about that idea.
I'm just going to outright steal it now that I mentioned Medium and you mentioned that. Like,
well, that's great because I'm going to steal your podcast template off GitHub then.
You should. Although I'll say, if you really want to do that, we should probably like clean it up a little bit. I'm in the process of, I switched to the Flow router. I'm gonna switch it to React, and then I'm gonna have it all have some server side rendering for the SEO purposes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be good.
We can do that. I'll help you with that.
All right.
I got a little bit of experience, dude. Flow router server-side rendering branch makes it stupid simple.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So
Angular 2 versus React.
Yes. And I love the picture at the top. I mentioned it at the top of the show, but it's got the what's that, like gangs of New York?
Yes.
Like standing against each other, and like the one side's holding like swords and knives with React, like, you know, symbols
Yes.
on them. And then the other side's holding the Angular HTML5 looking symbol as well. They look like they're gonna fight. So.
I gotta say, this guy must be getting tons of reads on this, because I have a year ago or over a year ago, I wrote the meteor.js versus React or versus angular.js ain't a thing
Yeah.
on Medium, and I still get like 3,000 views a month on that thing. And it gets tweeted all the time. And I know this article, I've been kind of like holding off from reading it because
Oh no, I would read it.
everyone's retweeting it, and it's like clogging my Twitter feed, and I'm like, uh. But now I'm forced to read it because I have to report on it, and it's good stuff.
So I think the interesting thing to me here is that reading this guy came from Angular 1, switched to React, and now Angular 2 is coming out, and he's kind of taking a look at it, and he's talking about the fact that Angular 1 and Angular 2 have a much more HTML centric approach to like how they're doing things. And so like you have an HTML template and then you apply some behavior to it, which, if you use Meteor, like that might sound familiar, Blaze. And his point is like you lose some of the greatness that you get with React and JSX, and the fact that you're writing JavaScript right in your HTML, and there's no. I'm not sure I see a super compelling reason to separate the HTML out necessarily. I don't know that you gain enough, because in the end, like if you look at something like Blaze, you still compile that HTML string or snippet or whatever into JavaScript code, which then gets executed. So I'd rather get the tooling benefits of like, JSS or JS linting, and there are other nice tools that come with React as well. So
Yeah.
I just think that's super interesting. I also think that he brings up the fact that they use TypeScript for all the Angular 2 stuff. And I think that might cause a little bit of heartburn for some people. Like all their examples are apparently for Angular 2 are all in TypeScript. And so they're trying to push that a lot more.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just got a prediction. 2020, Google buys Microsoft. This is the start with TypeScript.
Yeah. That's your perfect vision.
Anyways, no, it's not a perfect vision.
Get it. 2020.
Although I gotta say, Microsoft is, with the changing of the guard, they're doing some good stuff. Yeah, they're getting rid of all the crap. Anyway, sorry for taking this car off the cliff. Let's get back on the road.
The train off the tracks. That's more apropos right here. Yeah, so I think the other thing he mentioned was churn, and the fact that he referenced the JavaScript fatigue article and said that React was a key contributor, which I 100% agree with. Like a lot of the churn that's happening, I think is happening over as like React is coming of age. Like people are trying to figure out what works best and what doesn't, and on the opposite side of the fence, you have Angular 2, which Angular 1 was a fairly well thought out framework, but now they've kind of completely reworked it, and I think that it's likely much better thought out. I don't know. I mean, if I look back historically, like Rails 3 was better than Rails 2, but it was hell of a painful to make the switch. So, I mean, I understand some of that, but in the end, it did get better. So,
yeah.
That's all you got? Yeah.
I honestly haven't messed with Angular for
In a while.
2 years. Yeah. I haven't even looked at Angular 2 at all. I think I did read like a really basic tutorial I watched like a talk when it first was released at one of the NG comps or talked about at least. But yeah, that was way out there. And my prediction was, we did a prediction show on Ben and Abby, and I was like, "Yo, React ate up too much of the Vue world, and now Angular 2 is going to come on the scene, and they've taken up too much of the share already of the pie, and people aren't going to move away from React. I don't think."
Yeah.
Now you got Angular 1 guys, and they're going to go to Angular 2, but you got Angular 1 was like wildly successful.
I mean, it's still huge on GitHub, right? Like stars wise, it's like 4 times the size of Meteor. And
yeah, don't look at stars.
I don't. Well, I'm okay looking at Angular stars as a measurement.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I might have started something 2 years ago, right? Am I going to go back and like unstar it because I don't care about it anymore?
Oh, okay. Well, so my new measurement then, we'll use my new measurement.
Interesting. I want to know what it is.
Well, I told you yesterday. That is not it. So I go on Reddit and
okay.
Reddit subreddit, and for Angular, they have 14,500 readers that are subscribed, and 27 are online right now, right? And so then you go look at react.js. They were at like 7,300, and 32 are online right now.
Mm-hmm.
So strong readership. And then you go look at Meteor. Oops. Just our Meteor.
Which is going to be ridiculously lower, right?
3,400 readers with 5 online. And I'm assuming I'm one of the 5 there too. So yeah, I think it's like that's kind of how I'm measuring things. Like I
would say that, yeah. That's a good measure.
But that's the number of people that are interested in it. And I also think that honestly, there's probably a lot more businesses that invested a long time ago in. Did my video stop?
Yep, it did.
Invested a long time ago in Angular, and they're probably still somewhat invested in Angular, and they'll likely make that upgrade path as well.
Yeah, it's purely a prediction, and I'm curious on how the dust is going to settle by the end of next year. Yeah, but this is a great article. Here's why. This guy goes into detail, and as a developer, you need to know this. People are going to be coming up to you. If you're a consultant, you got competitors that are going to be proposing Angular. Well, you need to know how to talk about that if you're a React developer, or vice versa.
Sure.
And if you're in a product company, you're working on one product, you have a decision to make. You need to be educated about it. And you don't have all the time in the world to learn something new, right? If you're a startup, or learn both of them. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of effort to learn that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Corey House, good article. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Right on. So we're only doing 4 today.
Yep.
And the last one today is 4 strategies to survive 2006 with Meteor.
2006?
2016.
There you go.
What the heck?
Sounded like you said 2006 at first.
I did. I think I did. It's wild, man. Oh, instead of writing 2015, I write 2006. That's as I am everywhere.
Nice.
Yes. So this is an understandable title, right? Not only is there JS fatigue because of React and everything, but that fatigue has come into Meteor, and then on top of that, Meteor has had its own drama added to the fire, and it's what do we do now with Meteor in 2006? Or shit.
You're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
Mute me, Josh. I'm done.
You know what I found interesting about this article is, well, maybe not even this article, just the fact that we're talking a little bit about the changes happening in the Meteor landscape. I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were like, "Well, I don't understand. Why would you use React for a new project, especially when it's small? Shouldn't we just use Blaze instead? And I'm like, well, I mean, you could.
You could.
Maybe we're adding an hour and a half onto it because we're using React instead of Blaze.
Right now, at the current state that it's at. But the
But
reason why in the future is because you're going to have components that you can drop in right away.
components, plus, I mean, like they've just straight up come out and said Blaze isn't going to be around forever, right?
Yeah.
So, like when Meteor 2 comes out, my belief is it'll be Meteor 2 because Blaze is gone.
Did I miss something? Jeff said that he was going to like release an update on what they wanted to do with Blaze because he got a bunch of feedback. Did he release that update yet?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, so that the thing you have to do is go stalk Evan Yu on the forums, and you see little snippets here and there in various threads where he's saying that it looks like Blaze React, like Blaze 2, whatever you want to call it, likely will not be built. So that's a sure indicator that you should really be looking pretty hard at React at this point.
That's interesting. Yeah, because Evan was the guy that was originally tasked to make Blaze React.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good insight, Josh.
Yeah. So, but that that's part of this is with this article. He talks about Blaze to React and the other parts of Blaze or React ecosystem, I guess.
Well, so this article is really great because not only does he talk about Blaze React, but he also talks about the other things that you need to be prepared for, things that are coming in 1.3. Better NPM support, modularity, because you're going to be having import exports of ECMAScript 2015 being brought in. You need to know that. And then he went in to talk about app structures like Flux, Redux. Relay is not an app structure, but you need to like learn that because that's coming. And then he was right, because now look what Aeronota came out saying that we just reported on.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some 2016 is going to be taking all this JavaScript fatigue that we have, and people are going to be packaging it up and making opinionated libraries on how to use it, how to construct apps correctly. That's what 2016 is going to be about.
Right.
Dust is going to be settling. So you got to get used to that. Learn Redux now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then GraphQL. Understand the pub sub a little bit more. It's good stuff. Aeronota has a free class that you can go on to learn GraphQL. What is it? LearnGraphQL.com or something like that.
Yeah, and he's got some libraries as well. And my guess is, down the road, he's going to be instrumenting GraphQL sources in a way that looks good on Kadira and helps you understand what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, probably. So. GraphQL is not hard to learn, guys.
Yeah.
One good thing is that I want to point out as a resource, Pete Hunt released a little repo that's just a one README. That Pete Hunt is one of the creators of React, and a lot of people, he was hearing a lot of feedback that React was hard to learn, or the whole ecosystem of React, people were confused. So he released this roadmap, and it tells you step by step like what to learn in what order. And if you guys want to, you guys can go to GitHub/Pete Hunt, and I think it's one of his top repos. So if you go to his profile page, you'll see it there. It's like React-roadmap or something like that.
That's really interesting too, because he's not at Facebook anymore. He's like doing his own startup thing now.
So. Yeah. But he always was a big voice for React last year.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know what this year looks like for him, but he put that thing out, and it's good. We covered it in a show on the Ben and Abby show that's yet to come out, step by step. So yeah, I liked it. I didn't agree with it at first, and then Abby kind of swayed me a little bit in the show.
Yeah. You know what? The other thing I liked about this article too was just he talks about like avoiding premature optimization, and like honestly, like you can just take all this like teeth gnashing and like infighting and general BS that people are kind of upset about, and just realize like at the end of the day, people are building businesses that operate and function and bring in income and hire people and continue on. And like as a developer, we're really just here to either support that or create that. And I think that it takes time to get there. And like, software is a living thing. You're never going to be done with it. Like, no matter what you do, what you write today likely may be invalidated 6 months from now. And whether that's, because React is slightly more performant in the browser, or it's the fact that you learn something from your customer base, like, it's still going to happen. And so, like, these things happen. And so you need to have a good grasp on, number one, just building something that's profitable as a business, and then two, how do I refactor that and make it better?
Mm-hmm.
And those are important business skills, I think. And
you're right.
In the business of software, I think people get up in arms about a lot of stuff, and some of this stuff doesn't matter. Like, we're going to have a good path to get out of Blaze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I just got to tip my hat to people who are like creating resources like what Otto created here. Yeah. To help everyone through it.
Yes. And I love the pictures, like the Star Wars picture at the end.
Yes, I was going to say that.
World's largest bong for sale, call Luke, and it's like Luke Skywalker. That's hilarious.
That is. All right, guys. This is the first Crater podcast of the year.
Indeed. I don't know. We might stick to 4. How'd you feel about that?
I liked it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let us know. Tweet us something. Let us know if we should do 4, keep it at 5, do 6. It's probably too long. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. And if you haven't yet, be sure to check out CraterConf. It's conf.crater.io. And a lot of great speakers like that guy to my left.
Yo.
And yes. Abi will be on there.
Abi is.
Noda will be giving some kind of talk, I think around GraphQL, but who knows, maybe he'll change it up to be Mantra. I told him, you have the floor, sir.
That's cool.
Yeah. So should be good.
Yeah.
All right. And as always, if you want to support the show, you can go to Patreon, patreon.com/Meteor Club, and you can sign up there. The $10 reward level will get you into the soon to be called Space Dojo Slack.
I'm part of a lot of Slack groups, and yours is by far the most active and the most exciting, the most engaging. So whatever the name is going to be, I know the guys are going to follow you, and it's still going to stay number 1 Slack group.
It's the best. Yeah.
It really is, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.
See ya.
This video has been a Meteor Club production. You can find out more information about Meteor Club and join the mailing list by clicking on the Meteor Club button below. If you enjoyed this video, you can also hit the subscribe button below and get more content like this. Thanks for watching.